Welcome live to Rio de Janeiro as the FIVB proudly presents the World League Finals. It's day 2. And first up, it's world number 1 Brazil versus the United States. And welcome to Rio and Maracanazinho, which will be the site of the Olympic volleyball tournament. The opening ceremonies for the 2016 games, a little more than a year away, on August 5th. I'm Paul Sunderland here on hand as Brazil, currently ranked number 1 in the world, takes on number 5, the United States. And a very interesting, pressure-packed match indeed, particularly for Brazil. First match of the tournament so far for the United States, but just yesterday, Brazil lost 3-1 to France after winning the opening set. They played very inconsistently once again, and there you see the current standings in pool number 1. Again, as mentioned, the United States, which won their preliminary Group 2 with a record of 9-3 over the likes of Russia, Poland, and Iran, will play their first match. And this, if you'll remember, is a rematch of last year's championship in Florence. That was a competition and a gold medal won by the United States, 3-1. So Brazil getting ready. I talked to their head coach, Bernardinho, and he will start the same lineup as he did against France. These two teams know one another so very, very well. Actually, it's the 37th meeting between the United States and Brazil all time in World League competition. And Brazil leads that series with 26 wins over only 10 losses. As we take a look at the United States starting roster, Matt Anderson, clearly one of the best players in the world, will play the opposite. Aaron Russell and Taylor Sander, two very, very young players, will play at the outside hitting positions, and a lot of pressure on them, particularly in this atmosphere. There is the rest of the United States roster. Two-time Olympian David Lee will be in the middle, along with Max Holt as well. And young Micah Christensen, at only 22 years of age, will be the setter. For Brazil, I mentioned that it would be the same starting lineup. Bruno Rezende will be at the setter, along with Isaac Santos at one middle blocking position. Evandro Guerra will be at the opposite. Sergio Santos has come back and will be at the libero's position. Murilo Andres at one outside hitting position. Lucas Satkamp in the middle, along with Ricardo Lucarelli. So this is the scenario. Brazil must win this match. 3-team pools are a little bit awkward indeed. So if the United States beats Brazil, they are out of the tournament. They will have 2 losses, the United States with 1 win, France with 1 win. They'll advance to the semifinals. More on these two teams. I mentioned that it was the 37th meeting all time. In the finals of the World League, however, the United States has won 4 out of the last 6 meetings. They've met twice for the Olympic gold medal. The United States winning both all the way back in 1984 and more recently in Beijing in 2008. And Brazil, interestingly enough, feeling the pressure maybe of playing at home, they have now lost 2 matches on home soil. They lost their last intercontinental round or preliminary round match to Italy, and then they lost just yesterday afternoon here in Rio to France, again 3-1. The United States getting ready to take on Brazil. It's always a very special occasion, or at least it has been seemingly for the last half decade. The warm-up is concluded. The teams lined up along the sideline. They'll march to center court, and then we'll have the playing of the national anthems of both the United States and Brazil. Brazil is the winningest team ever in World League competition. 9 times they've won this championship, but they have not won since 2010, and for them, that is quite a drought. Well, now just moments away from first serve, and I tweeted it out earlier today, and I don't think it was hyperbole. This could indeed be a gold medal match preview coming up here in just a couple of moments at Maracanazinho. Building seats 11,800, originally opened in 1954, completely remodeled in 2003 and reopened in 2004. So we are just moments away. Once again, Brazil will be in their traditional blue and yellow, the United States in red, white, and blue. Obviously, teams like Poland, Italy, Serbia, and several others will have a lot to say. Iran among them now, certainly the elites will have a lot to say about who plays in the Olympic final, but it's not hard to think, particularly being here in Rio, that this may well be a look ahead as we have the introduction of the two referees working this afternoon's match, and more on it being this afternoon on just a moment. Andrei Zenovich from Russia will be the first referee, and Hernan Casamuquela from Argentina will be the second referee, and there is a dedicated challenge referee as well, and that will be Shin Muranaka from Argentina. There is Mr. Miguel Angel Quintana from Spain, the FIVB World League delegate. Yeah, making sure things are run just right. Let's get things going. Big crowd on hand. There's the starting lineup, as I already mentioned. Holt in the middle, a superb athlete. Really long, really fast, has had a wonderful professional season once again in Russia. Christensen Russell, and a real emphasis on Taylor Sander, last year's MVP, only 23 years of age, along with Aaron Russell, now only 21 years of age. They'll both be starting at the outside hitting positions, and the starting setter is Micah Christensen. He is only 22. This is the youngest starting lineup that the United States has put on the floor in a long, long time. And Murilo, Isaac, Evandro again will be at the opposite. Lucarelli will be at one outside hitting position. Lucas, Bruno, and 39-year-old Sergio will be at the libero. Big crowd on hand, as you might imagine, and there is Bernardo Rezende, now in his 15th year, 55 years of age. And I think he's the best coach of all time. 3 times a world champion, 8 times World League champion, Olympic gold medalist in 2004, and the list goes on and on and on. And also doing a superb job now in his 3rd season is John Speraw of the United States. He was an assistant for the Americans in both Beijing and in London, won 3 national titles at the collegiate level in the United States, and now is also the head coach at UCLA. Again, the United States was 9-3 in finishing first in their group. Brazil also 9-3. In their group of Brazil's was Australia, Italy, and Serbia. And the United States preliminary round group was Iran, Poland, and Russia. So for Isaac Santos, new to the lineup for Brazil in this sort of situation, going to have to very interesting to watch how number 2 in yellow responds. And also the young players for the United States. Taylor Sander went through it last year, but going to be different here in Brazil. Boy, this match certainly has a little bit of an Olympic feel to it, and we are underway. And quickly, Aaron Russell dug down the line. And over the top of the block, ball hit out of bounds, but clearly there was a touch on the block, no question about it. And Evandro, the 33-year-old at 2 meters 7 centimeters, he struggled. He got off to a very good start the beginning of Brazil's loss to France yesterday, but eventually finished, let me get you the numbers, just 12 of 30 with 10 hitting errors, and that's not nearly good enough as Murilo. Everybody knows Murilo, now 33 years of age, one of the great players, make it 34 over the last decade, has had some shoulder problems, and I spoke to the head coach Bernardo Rezende, Bernardinho, and he said that it's still a ways off until Murilo is really 100%. Here's Micah Christensen, good size setter at about 1 meter 97, about 6'6", and he misses that jump serve into the top of the tape. Micah Christensen started for the United States all of last year in their World League victory. It was the second championship for the United States. They actually won in this building in 2008 before they went on to win the Olympic gold medal in Beijing, beating Brazil in that final. And that ball is served out of bounds as well. So a number of service errors early on. There is Eric Shoji, and speaking of that, been one of the outstanding liberos, I think, in the world over the last couple of years. Absolutely superb. Left side, Lucarelli with his first swing. We'll give you his numbers against France in just a moment. Strong hit off of Matt Anderson. Ricardo Lucarelli, 1 meter 95 centimeters, an absolutely superb athlete, just 23 years of age. He was 19 of 37 against France and had 6 errors. Those are pretty good numbers for an outside hitter. Here is Evandro. Perfect pass, and a two-time Olympian David Lee. That ball is on the floor. And the first referee, Andrei Zenovic, waving off. And Sergio, who for many years, certainly off his foot, but also off his foot and then down into the floor. So I think that was indeed a very good call, and you saw that confirmed by the reaction of Sergio. High off the top of the hands, another good swing by Lucarelli. To recap Brazil's loss just yesterday afternoon to France, Brazil won the opening set 29-27 and then lost 25-21. And the crucial set was the third, 31-29, and then they lost badly in the fourth, 25-19. So they are 0-1, and this is the first match in this World League final for the United States. Max Holt over the top of the block and down. Max Holt, now 28 years of age. He, Matt Anderson, played together in college at Penn State University, and also matriculating from Penn State, but much more recently, is Aaron Russell. So 3 starters from the same school in the starting lineup. And here is Matt Anderson, clearly established himself as one of the top 5 players in the world. Good pass by Sergio, and that ball tucked inside by Lucarelli, already with 3 quick points. Good first contact by Sergio, right on target. Not a lot of deception. Lucas went behind. The blockers didn't go with him, but still the American block unable to slow down Lucarelli. Here is Lucas. That ball right on the end line. So an ace serve and a very good start for Brazil on top 6-4. That ball right on the end line. Absolutely perfect. Was speaking with the Brazilian head coach Bernardinho, and he was very unhappy with the inconsistency of his Brazilian team. More on that in a moment as that ball is served out of bounds, and that gives me a perfect segue. Yesterday, in the loss to France, Brazil had 4 aces, 19 service errors. That's awful. They also had 24 hitting errors, and that certainly cost them. Give France all the credit in the world, but that certainly hurt the cause for Brazil. Left side again, Murillo is blocked straight down. Micah Christensen, good size setter again at 198, outstanding athlete. Out to Murillo, watch number 11, the blocker for the United States, their setter. He's really, really a talented volleyball player and athlete as that ball is served out of bounds. Micah Christensen grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii, and when he was still just in high school, he was the state's best basketball player, not 1 year, but 2. Here is Bruno, the coach's son, now 29 years of age. 2-time Olympian, also has played in the World Championships. He has won 2 silver medals at the last Olympic Games in Beijing and again in London. In Beijing, it was the United States over Brazil, and in London, it was Russia over Brazil after the Brazilians held a 2-0 lead. Here is Max Holt. Been a very inconsistent server so far in the tournament. Isaac Santos right over the top of the block, and we've come to the first technical timeout of the opening set. And as you might imagine, we expected a very close, very hotly contested match, and it has started out exactly that way. Teams to the sideline, Brazil on top. 8-7 at the first technical timeout. Interesting conversation there on both sides as we look at some of the early highlights. It was interesting to watch the American team talking a lot among themselves, and David Lee, Matt Anderson, Max Holt, some of the veteran players talking about staying with a game plan, staying with the tendencies that they discussed. And I mentioned the start time. First serve was at 2 o'clock local time, so neither team practiced this morning. They both went through video sessions and pretty extensive preparation as far as the game plan was concerned. Beautiful save that time by Micah Christensen, extending high up over the top of the net to set that ball accurately. Really a good save, and then absolutely crushed by David Lee. 33 years of age, two-time Olympian, won a gold medal in 2008 when I thought he was the best blocker in the world, and still among the very best. He's wearing number 4 in red, currently in the middle for the Americans. Right side to Avandro, over the top of the block. Very good swing through the hands of Aaron Russell. This is what Brazil needs from Avandro. Again, he gave it to the Brazilians in the opening set. He was their leading scorer, but really tailed off after that in terms of his efficiency, eventually finishing with 10 service errors. John Speraw is going to challenge. He wants to challenge that there was a foot fault on the serve. And so the first challenge, again, each team gets 2 challenges, and those things that can be challenged. Not challenging the touch on the block here. That is not what's being challenged. John Speraw challenging whether or not there was a foot fault by Isaac Santos, and I think there was. We'll get another look at it. You can challenge foot fault, attack line or 3-meter line foot fault, center line foot fault. Oh boy, that was very close. I think he's okay. That is very close, but I think he's okay. I think that's going to be a point to Brazil on the hitting error by Aaron Russell. But that was a millimeter. That was incredibly close. Anyway, just to finish the thought, net touch, touch on the block, and the ball touch on the antenna are the areas that can be reviewed. Now, that is the television replay view. That is not the challenge video view. But I'll tell you, I think he's okay. By the slimmest of margins, I'll tell you, paper thin, I think he's okay. Challenge is taking a little while because it was so very close indeed. One of the American players coming over to ask me whether or not I thought it was a foot fault. And by my view, I think it was okay. And the final view, you can hear the first referee, Andrej Zenovic, saying, look, show the clip in the arena. This is taking too long. The crowd doesn't like it, and certainly the players like it even less. But we've shown you the video evidence, and now waiting for the challenge system video to rack up. The challenge system video is now in a separate room. It used to be courtside, but it was causing a lot of distractions with the fans and the players. They wanted to come over and look. This is taking too long. I know it was close. I've seen the evidence that it was too close, but this is way too long. This is not good for the fans. It's not good for the game. It's not good for the players. I love the challenge system. I really like the challenge system, but it can't take this long. Just can't. There's the official review. No fault, as I thought. Look, you got to get it right, okay? You got to get it right, and that was really, really, really close. I don't know what size Isaac Santos wears, but if it was 1 centimeter bigger, that would have been a foot fault. In either case, that ball hit out of bounds, back-to-back hitting errors here for the United States, and David Lee wants to challenge that there was a touch on the block, and he and Lucas Sotkamp, of course Lucas is not going to admit it, but David Lee, but John Spera did not want to burn his second challenge right there. Remember, the United States challenged the foot fault. They were proven incorrect, so now they only have 1 challenge remaining. Brazil still with their 2 challenges and the early lead, 11-9. Evandro, ball set tight, and he's stuffed on the outside by last year's most valuable player, Taylor Sander. One of the goals for the United States when I spoke to their head coach, John Spera, was to qualify for the finals because it was going to be played in this arena. This is the arena, this is the environment that all the countries that play Brazil will face at next year's Olympic Games. Lucarelli blocked again, so a couple of early stuff blocks. And with the jumping ability of Taylor Sander blocking on the left side and the size and ability of Micah Christian blocking on the right side, the United States really is a solid team at the net. And the back-to-back stuff blocks forces Brazil to call their first time out.
lá, foda-se. Tá? Tem que segurar de novo aqui.
Seu Rodízio, vamos lá, sem drama de novo. Vai sair, bora. Não, esquece essa aí. Tá, deixa eu vou pra sua esquerda aqui. Deixa eu ver comigo, eu me lasco aqui. Essa aí se foda. Vambora, eu tô ajudando. One, two, three.
Of Russian League and CEV championships. Speaking of technical problems, one of the technicians up with the first referee, Andrei Zenovich, straightening things out, but we're ready to go. Now, coming out of the timeout, the United States in the lead. It's always the question here. I mean, do you go for it once again? I tell you, I think you give Anderson the green light. Couple of aces. Good serve once again. Brazil off the net. Good pass. Very hittable ball, Hill. And Anderson down the line. I love the location of that second contact. At the 3-meter line, you don't have to be perfect. Watch where this ball is dug. It was actually about 4 meters off the net, but that gives Micah Christensen plenty of time and plenty of room. And what a good inside-out or wrist-away swing by Anderson. So Anderson, quiet early, but quiet no more for the United States. Americans are going to get another look. Boy, did not handle that play at all well. Good dig that's going to be tight to the net. Anderson is stuffed. So the United States has misplayed a couple of transition opportunities. And Brazil taking full advantage. See, this is what we call a free ball. Murillo with a pretty smart shot. We don't get to see that. Don't know why. Anyway, the United States should have run that ball right back at Brazil instead. They did not nearly enough with it. Woo! Look out. Just a little bit out of bounds. So another service error for Brazil. Taylor Sander, now 23 years of age, plays in Verona in the Italian First Division, just recently engaged. Last year's most valuable player. Boy, I don't like his toss. I don't think that toss is high enough. Either he's getting to it a little too slowly. It looked like he almost ran under that initial toss. A lot of pressure in this match, but particularly on Brazil. 3-team pools are always a little bit squirrely. Max Holt on the wrist away from Isaac, off the perfect pass by the United States. And Bernardinho talking to his young middle blocker, number 2 in yellow, Isaac Santos, telling him maybe on that perfect a pass, you got to commit, meaning you got to jump with the attacker. Holt just rolling that ball in. Right back to Isaac, went right over the top of David Lee. Right over the top. And David Lee is 2 meters, 3 centimeters. But that was just too good. Murillo again back to the service line. Still rehabbing and working strength back in that right shoulder. So not a very tough serve. Good location there, getting it on Lee. Back row combination, and that ball hit out of bounds again by Taylor Sander. Wow, balls hit out of bounds are absolutely killing that ball's out. No question about that. Oh, that's way out. Not even close. Tied at 19. Lucarelli to the outside. Perfect pass, quickly in transition. What a dig. Beautiful dig by Bruno. Anderson into the deep cross court corner. And now Brazil is going to challenge that the United States netted on the previous play. That ball was clearly in. That is not what's being challenged. So the key question is, where in the rally? That ball went back and forth 3 or 4 times. So where in the rally did the potential net violation take place? That's of no consequence. Doesn't matter that Brazil netted here. The ball is in by Anderson. Who cares about that one? That's what is being reviewed. And no, the shaking of the net there was Lucarelli as he was falling out of bounds. Brazil's going to lose this challenge, and the United States is going to lead 20-19. You might remember some years ago the net touch rules were changed, that the only violation was at the top of the tape, and any incidental contact, official review, there's no, it's Lucarelli. There's no fault there. Yeah. No question about it. No question about it. So Brazil loses one of their challenges. Each team has 1 timeout remaining, the United States leading 20-19. But just to finish that thought, the net touch violation used to only be called at the top of the net, and any incidental contact was not a violation. But this year they've gone back to the previous interpretation, and I don't like it. You know, if you inadvertently turn and brush up against the net, I don't think that should be a violation. But that's as it is. Both teams playing by the same rules. Tied at 20. Isaac back to the line once again. Opening set here on day 2 of the 26th edition of the World League. Back row, quick combination, good touch that time by Evandro. And off the block and out of bounds. The key to that play was the block help of number 15 in yellow. See, as an outside blocker, you can't fall asleep. You got to get involved. And really, really good play by Evandro, helping, and then Lucarelli taking care of the rest out of bounds. And just like that, Brazil on top by 1. Until the service error. This is the first match of day 2 to be followed by Italy and Poland. If you weren't with us yesterday, Italy playing without 4 of their best players who were sent home for a violation of team rules, beat Serbia in 5 sets. They will take on the reigning world champions. But a lot still to be decided here. That ball served out of bounds by Russell. So right now, Aaron Russell and Taylor Sander, the 2 young outside hitters for the United States, have not been good from the service line. Here's the double substitution. Leandro Vizotto will come on to replace Bruno, and number 7, William Harhonia, the 35-year-old, will come on to replace Evandro in the backcourt. Double substitution gives you a little more offense and a little better blocking instead of having your setter up front. Good opening set, back and forth. Both teams have had their moments. Both teams have made some errors. Tight set to Anderson, over the top of the block, a touch. A beautiful swing by Anderson, a perfect 3 for 3 in attacking, and also a couple of aces. I'll tell you, Brazil is doing a really good job right now blocking against the back row combination of the United States, which is one of its favorite plays. Both teams very well prepared, very well scouted. Unloading by Lucarelli off the right side. Not a good blocking attempt that time by Taylor Sander. I know he was one-on-one, but never really put up much resistance. 23-22. No team has led by more than 2 points throughout the course of this opening set. Big chance here for Brazil. Vizotto off the top. Taylor Sander is able to put that ball away. somehow finding a small crack in the block. Good scrambling that time by Max Holt to get in position. And also Micah Christensen again contorting to set that ball pretty accurately in a tough situation. Christensen, number 11, he will continue or start his professional career just having finished university competition in the United States for one of the top clubs, Macerata in Italy. Here's Anderson, already with 2 aces. Off the block, beautiful swing by Vizotto. Very clever wrist away. Off the block, into the antenna. Set point now for Brazil. The United States is out of challenges. They have 1 timeout remaining. Brazil has 1 timeout along with 1 challenge. And here John Spera is going to use his 2nd timeout here to talk about this serve reception and possibly slow down the server from Brazil. Let's listen. Part of the near capacity crowd on hand in this early afternoon match. The matches during the preliminary round are scheduled local time at 2 and 4 p.m. 14 and 16, if you will, in the afternoon. Lipe now will come on and serve. It's a tough roll coming off the bench, relatively cold, pretty live arm. Coming in to serve for Murillo. And he misses that one. As I mentioned, coming in stone cold. That's a pretty tough job, but you got to come in and find a way to get that ball in the court. Murillo right back on. Taylor Sander missed his last serve, and he's going with the jump float here. And that ball just out of bounds. Wow, and again, the United States is out of challenges, so they don't have a chance to take another look. That ball was clearly out. Wow. So Evandro, the double sub is being unwound. And so Evandro will move into position number 4 in the left front, and Bruno will go back to serve. Set point number 2. Bruno also going with the jump float, being a little conservative. Anderson again. Matt Anderson, perfect so far in attacking. He's now been moved to the opposite position, or the right side, after having played at the outside hitting position. Clay Stanley, who has manned the opposite position so ably for the United States for so long, whether or not he can continue his career, has had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. And that is so careless. That is awful. Because Taylor Sander missed before Max Holt, and then Holt didn't even hit this ball hard. That was about a 50% serve, and he missed it out of bounds. Aaron Russell one-on-one. I was wrong. Lipe didn't come in for Murillo. He came in for one of the middle blockers to come in and add some serving. You just saw Murillo back in the rotation. And no question about that. Good play to the outside. Russell with the kill. So tied now at 26. Brazil has had 2 set points. Christensen is a good server. The United States has missed their last 2. Toss a little bit low. Oh, bad set to the outside. Good shot into the block by Evandro to restart the point. And then that ball tucked luckily inside by Lucarelli. Wow. Brazil got away with a couple of really bad sets. The first one to Evandro was way too close to the net, but he smartly tipped that ball into the block and gave Brazil another opportunity. But that ball to Lucarelli also too tight. But good job by Ricardo Lucarelli to get that ball to the floor. Set point number 3 now for Brazil, with Isaac Santos back at the line. David Lee is blocked straight down. Great read by one of the very best, Lucas Satkamp. Watch Lucas in the middle. He dives into the wrist away. That's David Lee's favorite shot. There's the wrist away. And boy, they have faced one another so many times before, but on this occasion, the middle blocker for Brazil getting the better of it, and Brazil takes the opening set 28-26. Teams will go to the sideline, switch sides, and we'll be back with more coverage of the FIVB World League from Rio de Janeiro in just a couple of moments. Well, let's take a look at some of the most important numbers from the opening set. Obviously, the most important is 28 Brazil, 26 for the United States. Offense, the better to Brazil's side. The United States had a number of unforced hitting errors early. The blocking relatively even. What kept the United States in the opening set was their serving with 3 aces and their blocking with 3 stuffs. Look, this was a very competitive, entertaining opening set. But both coaches would tell you that it was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There were way too many unforced errors, and the team that eliminates those is the team that is going to come out on top. Thanks for joining us once again for the 26th edition of the World League Finals. Americanazinho, which will be host of the 2016 Olympic Indoor Volleyball competition. And every match, and I do mean every match, not just the Brazilian matches, will certainly be sold out. It is going to be a rockin' atmosphere both here and for the beach competition in Copacabana. Brazil must win, and it would be to their advantage to win in 3 or 4 sets. Then they would get the full 3 points for the match win. Here's how the points work, and I am not a fan of it. I don't like the system. If you win a match in 3 or 4 sets, you get the full 3 points. If you win a match in 5 sets, you only get 2 points, and the loser of the match gets 1 point. It is not the first tie-break criteria. The first tie-break criteria is matches won and lost. And then the second tie-break is points. And in a very competitive 3-team pool, this very well could come down to points as to who advances into the semifinals. This is Brazil's second and final match of the preliminary round here of the final 6. The United States will play France tomorrow. Remember, this is our first of 2 matches on day 2. Coming up later on, approximately 30 minutes after the conclusion of USA-Brazil, will be Italy-Poland. And like the United States, Poland will get their first look, the reigning world champions. Max Holt back to serve, ready for the start of set number 2 in this best 3 out of 5. Off the top of the tape and out of bounds, so Holt has missed his last 2 serves. Leading scorers of the opening set, Ricardo Lucarelli with 7 points for Brazil. Matt Anderson also with 7 points for the United States. Anderson with 4 kills, 1 block, and 2 aces. Aaron Russell down the line, over and into Bruno. Aaron Russell made his debut for the United States national team just this summer. A lot was expected, but like Taylor Sander before him last year, Aaron Russell has played at a very high level throughout the course of his first senior division international competition. Christensen misses that serve just out of bounds. So now both the United States and Brazil with a clean slate in terms of timeouts and challenges. The United States used both of their challenges and were incorrect on both, albeit very close. One was a foot fault on the serve. It was within millimeters. The other was a touch. There was no touch seen, so they lost both challenges. Here is Evandro. Perfect pass. David Lee once again. Eric Shoji with the absolutely perfect reception. Just at the beginning of his international career for the libero for the United States, but I'll tell you, he has, in my opinion, established himself as one of the best in the world. There are lots of them, but he's in the elite group. The United States shouldn't block here. Don't block. Quickly to the outside, Sander is dug. And Lucarelli, again, the United States coming up empty in transition. Let's give you the numbers on Taylor Sander. He was very, very quiet in that opening set. He didn't even make the stat sheet as far as the leaders were concerned. Anderson had 4 kills, David Lee with 3, Max Holt with 2. So that tells you that the reigning most valuable player of the World League Finals has been very quiet so far here in the early going. Awkward looking play there. Looked bad from the outset. Bad pass by Aaron Russell. That ball was set way too low, and Anderson should have thought better of it and just kept the ball in play. Christensen trying to stay fast, trying to stay up-tempo, but an unforced error there, the first for Anderson. Back row quick combination and successful for the first time by Aaron Russell in the United States. We haven't talked about it, but you saw that really quick jump serve from Lucarelli, almost brought to a standstill by this new net. The net is line by line, both horizontal and perpendicular, loaded with LED lights, and it makes it very heavy and also very, very stiff, really slowing things down. Block on the outside once again from Murillo. So a lot of the players have talked about this new look net and how the ball reacts differently, particularly from the service line, mind you, but it's the same for both teams. Back-to-back points for the United States, and we're tied once again at 4. Good jump float serve by David Lee. David Lee, circa 2008 and 2009, had one of the best jump float serves in the world. But now what teams have done is they've moved their reception much farther forward. Look at Brazil's reception right there, just past the 3-meter line, and they'll try to take that ball overhand. That ball off the block and out of bounds, and Evandro, who tailed off towards the end of Brazil's opening night loss to France yesterday, finished with 12 kills but 10 errors. He's been outstanding so far in the early going already with his 4th kill on 8 swings. Lucas back to serve as usual, leading the way in blocking for Brazil, and had that big one to end the opening set. Max Holt with a kill once again. The United States would like to set the ball into the middle. And when I'm saying middle, I'm including their middle attackers and also their attackers out of the middle back on the back row or quick or Bick over 30% of the time. So something to look for the United States. maybe 35% of the balls from the United States, if they're playing the way they want to, should come out of the middle. That ball served just out of bounds. Anderson thought he had dialed up his third ace, but it was just long. No question about it. Good call. Another look. Ball clearly out of bounds. Anderson into the deep cross court corner. I'll tell you, Aaron Russell, number 2 in red for the United States. He is passing the ball perfectly right now. And if I were Brazil, I would start to serve somebody else. Taylor Sander has struggled a little bit, so maybe Brazil can go after him. Here is Sander. Very easy serve. And Isaac goes straight downtown. There's the fine line. You got to serve tough, but you have to be able to serve in with some consistency as well. Just to the outside of Max Holt, there, number 17 in red. That's a pretty good matchup. Max Holt can match Isaac Santos centimeter for centimeter as far as jumping ability. Russell again. That ball off of Bruno. Smart shot by Lucarelli, poked up by Sander. Beautiful defensive play by Taylor Sander on the diving save after the smart shot by Lucarelli. Off the top of the block, and Sander not quite anchors away. You got to stretch out, young fella, get airborne. But Max Holt, aggressive set that time to Micah Christensen. We've come to the technical timeout now with the United States leading Brazil 8-7. Every millisecond on the court, every point, so vitally important. Interesting comment by head coach John Speraw, talking about how his team looked a little deflated when they fell behind early. Lucarelli has been carrying a huge load so far for Brazil. Really, really a smart attacker for somebody so early in his career. And right on cue. I tell you, he can bring the heat, and one-on-one, that is almost impossible to stop. But he is also so good out of system and high flat. Really has a wide variety of shots in order to score points for Brazil. Boy, good, yeah, good luck trying to slow that down. Tied at 8. Anderson again down the line. That's what your opposite attacker has to do. Get you out of trouble, out of system. Boy, there was a lot of line there and a really good wrist away. I always thought diggers down the line should have their outside foot right on the line. But the game is played so fast right now. Currently, coaches want them to move into the court to take up a little more real estate. But it's there, Murillo beaten to the outside. Off the block again. Beautiful pass by Sergio, not being fooled. I'll tell you, the level of play is much higher here in the second set. Both teams in perfect position, very schooled, in and out of system. They know exactly what they need. There is Evandro back at the line once again. Very good opening set. Looking at the numbers once again. He had just 3 kills in the opening set. He's got a couple here to start the second. Brazil won the opening set 28-26. and misses that serve badly out of bounds. If you're just joining us, Brazil lost yesterday. I think anybody in their right mind would call it a huge upset. Brazil ranked number 1, France, a very good team, ranked number 12. Brazil playing at home. They won the opening set, and then they lost 3 straight. So Brazil in a must-win situation. That off of David Lee and out of bounds. Good cross-body attack that time by Lucas. Brazil under Bernardinho has won this championship 8 times, 3 world championships, an Olympic gold medal, and 2 Olympic silver medals. Here is Lucarelli again, been Brazil's best player. Lucas going behind. Shoji read that easily. And then Anderson off the top of the block once again. A great defensive read by Eric Shoji, number 22, the libero, right there. You don't get to that ball unless you have really superb instincts, because you're expecting heat from Lucas. And Bernardinho knows that that was maybe a key turning point and an opportunity. One missed by Brazil. Dug by Sergio. Lucarelli through the block and down. Ricardo Lucarelli, wearing number 18 in yellow, just 23 years of age, 1.95 meters, just under 6'5". What a player. Here's Lucas, and misses that serve badly. Brazil up and down as far as their serving is concerned, but I still think better than the United States. Other than Matt Anderson, the United States has not done much from the service line. Taylor Sander has struggled. Matt Holt has struggled. One quick correction. David Lee has been very good with his jump floater. Evandro one-on-one, dug by Anderson. Christensen going after the ball. What a spectacular effort. I told you he was athletic. Wonderful basketball player in high school. Now moving on to the professional ranks. Watch the end of this play. I'll tell you, spectacular, but also very risky. Wow. Jumping over part of the partition and one of the cameramen. And Anderson comes right back. The United States is really taking advantage of Matt Anderson, who at 2 meters, 2 centimeters, is going right over the top of Murilo Andres at 190. Matt Anderson, 6'10". Murilo is only 6'3". That ball's into the antenna, unforced error. See, Evandro, you can't do that. The ball set outside the antenna, okay? I know he didn't mean it, but you got to just tip that ball into the block and restart the point. This is what Bernardinho was talking about. That's an unforced error. Bad set, but made much worse by the hitting error. Evandro again. And that ball off the block and out of bounds. United States now leading 14-13. Brazil won the opening set 28-26. And I told you Taylor Sander was struggling, and Thomas Jaski, his first year on the U.S. national team, he has decided to turn pro a year early, and he will now go play in Poland, and he has played exceptionally well so far for the United States. But I'll tell you, a big opportunity for number 10 in red for the United States, and if you're Brazil, of course you're going to go right after him. Perfect pass to start. That's one. Ball's got to come. Lucarelli into the cross court. Good block out of the middle to start things by Isaac. And then who else? Where are you going to go? I'll tell you, there was a movie a long time ago called The Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call? I'll tell you, if I'm Bruno, I'm calling number 18, Lucarelli, just about every time. Aaron Russell, beautiful shot into the cross court. Perfect pass. Max Holt got rid of the middle blocker that time, Isaac, and a one-on-one to the outside. Russell's been solid. Last year's MVP Taylor Sander to the sideline, replaced by Thomas Jeske. The last 2 years, Jeske has been the U.S. College Player of the Year. And once again, Max Holt serving the ball out of bounds. I'll tell you, that's a real problem for the United States. Max Holt has the athletic ability at the highest possible level in the game. And there were times earlier during the Intercontinental round when he was a good server, a really good server. But right now, he has completely lost it. Really ineffective for the United States. Really good save that time by Christensen. But I don't think a good block. Not a good block that time. Watch Brazil's blockers. I'll tell you right now, watch Christensen. He's going up with one hand. I'll tell you, Evandro, not so much Lucas, but Evandro has got to know that ball is getting set to the middle. And he's got to be a much more imposing block. That was a missed opportunity for Brazil as we've come to the second technical timeout. The United States now leading Brazil 16-15 at the second TTO. Teams coming back out onto the floor. Brazil still currently ranked number 1 in the world. They finished second, taking home the silver at the last World Championships, losing to Poland in Katowice. The United States, not a good result at the last World Championships when they finished tied for 7th. This is the United States' 18th appearance in the World League. They won the title in 2008, 2014. For Brazil, they have played in all 26 World League tournaments. Only Brazil and Italy have appeared in every tournament. Serve into the top of the net, another error. And now the double sub coming on with William and Vizotto. The service story for either team is not particularly pretty. Deep jump float. Ball kept alive by Lucas and dunked out of bounds. Boy, but that's going to be called. There's going to be a challenge by the United States. The United States, let's take another look. Beautiful save by Lucas. And yeah, that was a touch. I can just... Yeah, I think that there's a micro touch right there against Aaron Russell of the United States. But the Americans are challenging that there was no touch off the block. A friendly conversation between Bernardinho and American head coach John Spera. I think they both have kind of a love-hate relationship with this challenge system. Wonder if it'll be so friendly a year from now. This is not the challenge replay. This is the television replay. So I want to make clear, but from that, to my eye, it looks like that there was a micro touch. And this is one of the interesting features of the challenge. I mean, as players, you're always used to saying, no touch, no touch, no touch. You're always used to saying that. There's the official review, and also being told now officially the United States wasn't challenging touch on the block. What they were challenging was that Lucarelli touched the net. So everybody enjoying it now, but we shall see. Still some bugs to be worked out. One of them is, of course, making sure that the decision is made much faster. Boy, I'll tell you, Matt Anderson and Lucarelli, what a battle between the two. Tied at 17. Aaron Russell will go back to serve. Anderson, as I mentioned, 2 meters, 2 centimeters, going right over the top of the block. Acer! Boy, it's either feast or famine for the United States. Matt Anderson with a couple of aces, David Lee with an ace, and now Aaron Russell joining the party to the outside that time of Lucarelli. The United States on top, 18-17. Timeout called by Brazil. So teams will head to the sideline. The United States led at the first technical timeout of the second set, 8-7. They led at the second technical timeout, 16-15. And just like the opening set, where no team had a larger than a 2-point advantage, the second set has been equally close.
Na linha lá, tem gente, esquece. Vai dar tempo, tirar o cara aqui. Só cuidado que ele tem aquela porra aqui, ó. Tá? Vai pra cima essa bola aqui. Vai rodar agora, buscar o bem, depois, vai.
Teams back out on the floor. Brazil has used one of its timeouts. They still have both of their challenges. The United States still 2 timeouts, but only 1 challenge remaining. And Russell misses that badly. So that'll go down as a pretty good strategic timeout taken by Bernardinho. Lucarelli has been spectacular in every phase of the game. Still got to get better as a receiver, but serving and attacking in particularly, he has been just great. Back row, quick combination, dunked by Lucarelli. Anderson again, but missed it out of bounds. And there's going to be a challenge. There's always a conversation between a couple of the players, and you know, now there's the video evidence. Now let's take another look. Hard to tell from that angle. Again, once again, this is the television, maybe off the thumb. That's a very good look. That's the official review, and clearly off the thumb of Lucas. So clearly a touch. That's going to be a point for the United States. And I'll tell you, right now, I love the challenge. It was clear, it was quick, it was decisive, and we get right back to the action. Good for the game, good for the players. David Lee already with 1 ace, the United States on top, 19-18. No, you can't make that mistake. Got to keep the ball on your side of the net. Off the top of the net and out of bounds. Unforced error, Brazil. But Brazil likes to run this play with Lucas going behind, trying to get him into the offense a lot more. But that time, clearly, very bad unforced error. Combination play, Vizotto. Big swing for Jeski, high off the top of the block. Brazil, fast break volleyball, quickly out of the back row, and then hit out of bounds by Lucarelli. So 2 balls hit out of bounds. And again, the story for Brazil, once again, is just inconsistency with such a small margin for error. When I talked to Bernardinho before the tournament started, I said, look, second at the Olympics in 2012, second at the World Championships, second at the World League Finals last year. He said, we're just not consistent enough. And now you're seeing a perfect example. There's a good look at the LED net. It's not utilized in terms of its entertainment value, of course, in between points or during play. I think they should advance to that. I think they should put up challenge on it or put up stuff block or whatever it may be, but that's down the road. David Lee back to serve. This has been a good scoring rotation for the United States. Bad pass. Free ball coming to the Americans. Anderson again off the top of the block. A touch, no question about it. Absolutely a touch. Anderson's trajectory. Anderson's attacking trajectory is absolutely superb. There you see it off the top of Murillo. He's hitting for the back part of the court. He's hitting high flat. That's a beautiful replay. Globo here in Brazil providing the world feed and all our domestic and international pictures for you. The United States now with a 22-18 advantage. Hit straight down by Lucas. Lipe is going to come on now and serve for Lucas. Interesting, same as the last set. You know, Lucas, again, I hate to overuse the word, but Lucas is inconsistent. Sometimes his serve is impossible to pass, but he misses a lot. When Lipe came in the first set, he missed his only opportunity. Overpass by Matt Anderson. So Lipe comes in and gets the service winner. Murillo putting that ball away on the overpass. John Spera asking the official scorekeeper if he's got 2 timeouts. Could have asked me. I just told you he got 2 timeouts remaining. And so United States uses 1 of their 2 timeouts, still with the 22-20 advantage.
Maddie, they've said 8 a couple of times, but while you're serving, Micah, make sure you help. Man, the next one on 6, front street, ready for the big to Lucarelli, okay? Yeah. There we go. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, USA. Inside out.
There's the serving story so far. The United States with 5 aces and 12 errors. Brazil with only 1 ace, and that was in the beginning of the first set by Lucas, who's been subbed out now for Lipe. They have 12 errors. So right now, through the match yesterday and then today, Brazil has 5 aces and 31 service errors. Wow, that is terrible. Russell, ball just barely kept alive off the top of the tape. Jeski down the line, dug by Lucarelli. Free ball coming. And a big block against Evandro. Off-speed shot. I'll tell you, there was nothing wrong with the attacking decision made by Evandro. Off-speed, he's just trying to get the ball back. This is a smart shot, trying to restart the point, but a better block by Matt Anderson. United States now leading again by 3, 23-20. That was Jeske on the side on both swings. He's played very well since coming in for Taylor Sander. Service error here for Anderson in the United States. Brazil must win this match to advance to the semifinals. It doesn't guarantee to have any hope of advancing to the semifinals. Oh, a big miss here by Bruno. Boy, that is just an awful miss. Not a good toss, but you've got to keep that ball in play in that situation. United States now with 3 set points. Here's their first. And another service error. Too many service errors for the health of the men's game. Just too many. I'm not sure what, I've got some ideas. I'm not sure what the solution is, but way, way too many points scored on errors from the service line. Set point number 2. Ball set tight to the net. Kept alive by the United States. To Isaac, no. Lucarelli, yes. And a big block on the outside. Lucarelli has been nearly perfect throughout the course of this match. And he got a one-on-one look. Can't ask for anything better. And then Micah Christensen with a one-on-one stuff block, and we are tied at a set apiece. An Olympic gold medal preview? Maybe. And it has lived up to its billing. Tied at 1 set apiece. Brazil won the opener 28-26. The United States wins the second 25-22. Teams to the sideline. We'll be back with a third set after a short break. Well, there, a look at the numbers from the second set. United States, 2 aces, Brazil, none. Offense, obviously, very even indeed. So the United States continues, in spite of the fact that they themselves have had double-digit errors. The United States out-blocking and out-serving Brazil. Brazil now with 32 service errors so far through 6 sets. You do the math. And only 5 aces. 5 aces, 32 service errors for Brazil. 4 sets in their loss to France yesterday, and through 2 sets here against the United States. Yeah, part of the scene here at the World League, the 26th edition. It's the 4th time that Brazil has hosted the World League finals, and hasn't necessarily been all that kind. The Brazilians' only win was all the way back in 1993 in Sao Paulo. In Rio, the finals have been held twice. Brazil was second in 1995 and fourth in 2008. But Brazil has had more success in this tournament than anybody else, having won the title on 9 different occasions. Italy has the second most titles with 8, but they have not won this championship since 2000. The United States has 2 titles in 2008, 2014, and Russia has 3. Matt Anderson has been superb, but there was a look at one of his few misses. Ricardo Lucarelli is currently Brazil's leading scorer with 12 points, all of those coming in the attack phase. He is 12 of 22. Second leading scorer is Evandro Guerra. He has 6 points. Leading scorer for the United States, Matt Anderson, 11 of 15 attacking. Just absolutely superb. But he needs some more help, particularly from his outside hitters. Lineup remains the same. Aaron Russell on the floor, just 21 years of age. Thomas Jeske, yep, he's 21 as well. So just babies out on the floor right now for the United States, but playing like grown men. Boy, it feels like we've played a lot of volleyball already. Brazil won the opening set. The United States came back to take the second. And here we are set to begin the third. Lucarelli to serve. Ace serve. Boy, Brazil could use more of that. No question. Sorry to be so obvious. A good ratio, an acceptable ratio, is 3 errors for every ace. Obviously, prior to that, Brazil was nowhere near that with 5 aces and 32 errors. So that's 6-1, which is awful. That's good. That was a foot fault there, but it would have been called, and it doesn't matter. The ball was served out of bounds. So once again, each team will start with their full component of timeouts and challenges. 2 challenges per set per team. If you're correct in the challenge, you keep it. If you're wrong, obviously you lose it. Technical timeouts when a team reaches 8 and when a team reaches 16. Here's Christensen. Evandro, good high flat shot. One thing to look for in this third set, Murillo was spending a lot of time talking to Bernardinho, the coach of Brazil, and the rest of his teammates about Matt Anderson, and telling them to block much lower and tighter and try to take away Anderson's high flat shot, which had been so successful. Easier said than done, but something to watch for here early. Anderson again off the block and out of bounds. And I'm not necessarily talking about in rotation number 1 when Anderson is hitting left side. I'm talking about all the other rotations when Anderson is hitting out on the right and oftentimes matched up. He 2 meters 10 centimeters, 6'10", working against Murillo, who is only 1 meter 90 or 6'3". Something to watch for. Russell disdaining the jump serve. United States, I think, is going to be a little more conservative with their service strategy. Murillo is absolutely, and has been for a decade, one of the best receivers. So I think that they want to more pinpoint Lucarelli. Back row, quick combination. That ball off the top of the tape. Boy, the United States has been pretty ineffective. That is their bread and butter. Taylor Sander missed a few. That is usually easy money for the United States. I've watched them throughout the Intercontinental round. Their favorite play, and they got lots of athletes to hit it, but they've been missing it. Anderson again. Block high, block low. Matt Anderson now 11 for 15 through 2 sets. He's now 13 of 17. It is early, but through the Intercontinental round and on here into the finals, certainly one of Anderson's best performance against, and there have been many. That ball hit out of bounds. No touch detected. This is a real challenge for Brazil. Murilo now 34 years of age, 2 times a world champion, 6 times a World League champion. He's won the World Cup. He's won 2 Olympic silver medals. But his shoulder has been repaired surgically. He brings so much to the team, but when must Brazil replace him? Ball set tight to the net and absolutely just thumped through by Evandro. I know it's early, but a missed opportunity in transition once again for the United States. Good save by Bruno. Adjusting to this very stiff net and anticipating that it would come out much closer. That ball ripped right through the hands of Aaron Russell. There's the back row combination. You know, if that's your best play, you got to stay with it. It's like in basketball. If, you know, your high screen and roll is your best play, just because you screw it up a couple of times, you got to go right back to it. Evandro again, outside of Jeski and down. Good swing by Evandro. Evandro Guerra, now 33 years of age, 2 meters 7 centimeters. Over 100 kilos. He is really put together. We'll see as this match wears on, because the longer it went against France, the less effective he was. Very high toss again by Isaac, but well out of bounds. Ball set way too tight again. Aaron Russell will learn. You got to watch the hitter. A lot of blocking is about eye work. Watch the outside blocker. I mean, he's kind of looking. You know, he might even have his eyes closed. When you see your opponent aiming out of bounds, you got to pull your hands out of the way. Tough to do. I mean, that is milliseconds to make that adjustment. And that ball served out of bounds. So the service errors continue to add up for Brazil. Close doesn't count. Oh, look at that. Boy, Max Holt is just a disaster from the service line. Technical timeout, Brazil leading 8-7 here in the third, and the United States and Max Holt have got to do something about how ineffective he has been from the line. Technical timeout taken. We'll step aside for a moment. Again, Brazil must win this match after losing to France yesterday 3-1. If they lose, they're out of the tournament. Paul Sunderland here for you, enjoying the finals once again. It's my 11th World League Finals. Started back in Belgrade, Serbia in 2005. Boy, time goes by in a hurry. Lucas on the cutback against 2 blockers. But it all started with a very good serve, and from who else but Lucarelli. That's the worst mistake the worst mistake you can make is getting aced. The second is passing the ball over the net. If you're being challenged as a receiver, keep the ball 3 meters off the net. Evandro, ball never cleared. There's an unforced error. There it is again. Inconsistency consistently offered up by the world's #1 team, at least right now. They're still leading 9-8. I'm just thinking how to this is getting embarrassing for the United States. I mean, their serving is pathetic. And yet they're only down by 2 because Brazil's not much better, as evidenced by that. Wow. Like I said, something's got to be done. All these points are being scored, and nobody's playing volleyball. Evandro again, and through David Lee, small hole. Good high, hard swing. See, with Murillo out on the left side, Brazil's offense becomes very predictable. In 4 sets yesterday against France, Murillo only had 13 total swings and only put 3 balls away. Here's Bruno. Oh, what a set that time by Christensen. Perfectly delivered to Anderson. Remember I said that when the setter goes up with one hand, he's only got one option? Well, maybe not. Wow, Micah Christensen is playing at a level way beyond his years. Starting setter for the United States, 22. The starting outside hitters right now on the floor, only 21. And that's out of bounds. That's what I'm talking about. Unforced errors. Bernardinho telling Evandro that he's got to throw that ball. Yeah, he's aiming out of bounds. Throw that ball into the block. Remember the ball previously in the last set that he hit into the antenna? Christensen can't make the play after David Lee had that ball travel up into his chest a little bit. Good kill by Evandro, coming right back. Evandro's got to keep his composure, because for him, if you think back, the latter stages of the second set and here into the middle of the third, errors are starting to creep into his game. Jeski right over the top of Evandro after the perfect pass. Max Holt taking the middle blocker Isaac right out of the play. Watch Holt. Isaac jumps on the play, one-on-one opportunity. I'll tell you, that's a 90% solution if you're one-on-one. Tied at 12. Tied at 1 set apiece. A serve for Anderson. Wow! Matt Anderson is on fire. Had a very interesting year, both in and out of Russia. More on that when we have a moment. Excellent pass off a tough serve. Christensen tracking that down, hittable ball. Point of the match. Aaron Russell doing a good job playing very deep center field before Isaac able to put that ball away. Boy, nobody was really ahead in that point. Both teams scrambling, playing really good defense. So that's what people want to see. I mean, that point was worth as much as a service error. Anderson again with another kill. Somehow got to find a way to get all of these service errors out of the men's game. It won't happen until after the Olympic Games, nor should it. But it's got to change. I am sick of it. Overpass. Bruno, let's take a look at the lineup. If Bruno is back row, then it's an automatic violation. And he is. Bruno is currently in the left back, so he cannot participate in the block. And another stuffed block and a facial administered by Max Holt. And after trailing early at the first technical timeout, the United States, what a good block by Max Holt here with some help off the left side by Aaron Russell. Teams will go to the sideline with the United States now leading 16-13 at the second technical timeout.
Fazer giro na rede aqui, eu sou mais de ataque, tá? E voltar, com calma, tá? E voltar pro jogo, tá?
Galera, vamos fazer o rodízio e jogar voleibol. Não adianta a gente gastar energia com o ar, os caras dão uma tirada. Vambora!
Might be worth remembering that both teams still have their two challenges remaining if this one goes right down to the wire. United States leading 16-13, third set, tied at a set apiece. Brazil must win this match, otherwise they're out of the tournament. Aaron Russell overran that play. What a great pass that time by Lucarelli. The pass was the key to the play. Here's the double sub. William comes on along with Vizotto, replacing Evandro and Bruno. Bad pass. Chance here for Brazil to get within one. And over the top of the block, and they do. How quickly it can change. The United States had a three-point lead at the technical timeout, and now it is down to one. Off the top of the block and down once again for Aaron Russell, who has picked things up after a slow start in sets number one and then on into set number two. Boy, that is a really good swing because Leandro Vizotto is 2 meters 12 centimeters, 6'11". Aaron Russell awfully close as well in terms of his size at 2 meters 6 centimeters. So, but that was a good, high, hard, flat swing by the 21-year-old outside hitter. Russell Holmes now on to serve for the United States. Vizotto off the block and out of bounds. If you're wondering, the usual starting opposite for Brazil, of course, is Wallace de Sousa. And he has a slight back injury, so the Brazilian medical and coaching staff decided that he was not going to play in these first two matches. Lipe on now to add some blocking up front. Murillo is out. Ball is served well out of bounds. Now the United States leading by 2 once again, and taking a sigh of relief to get Lucarelli off the service line. The United States won their group in the Intercontinental round with a 9-3 record. Brazil the same in Group 1. That ball dug, but cannot be controlled. Missed out of the backcourt. It was a tough chance for Jeski. Brazil was in the Intercontinental round with Australia, Serbia, and Italy. The United States was grouped with Russia, Poland, and Iran. Remember, this is the first of 2 matches on the day. Another service error. Following United States, Brazil, it will be Italy, Poland. The United States should go after Lipe if they possibly can, with Murillo out of the lineup. Not even close with that jump serve. Evandro and Bruno coming back in as the double sub is unwound. Both teams trying to be a little more conservative with their serving game after they've missed so many. Chance for Brazil again. Good block in transition. And United States complaining that Isaac was over the top of the net, but they're used to, well, you're not seeing the signal now. Andre Zenovic saying that Isaac was legally right on top of the net. Any part of the ball, if any part of the ball is above the net on your side, then that is a legal play. And Zenovic, the first referee, was quite emphatic about it. So now we are tied at 19 once again, with the United States calling timeout. Brazil playing better defense. I understand what the faults mean. How do you make a mistake trying to dig the ball? But just count digs, and right now Brazil doing a little better job. So Bruno back to serve, tied at 19. Brazil a chance to take the lead. And Felipe tucks it inside. Good dig once again by Bruno. See, Sergio adds so much in so many unique ways. He's just not a good receiver and defensive player. You see how quickly the libero for Brazil was able to run that play. And the crowd is back in it. Back row combination. Where has that been for the United States? Again, they want to run an attack out of the middle of the court, either their middle attacker or to their back row quick hitter, 35% of their offense. And when they have set the middle back, oftentimes it's gone for naught. Ball's hit out of bounds. Isaac, good save by Bruno. These are the kind of matches that you live for. This kind of atmosphere, this kind of adversity if you're the United States, this kind of home support if you're Brazil. This is what it's going to be like during the Olympics. And Holt comes right back. That's been missing a little bit from the United States. Micah Christensen's got to stay confident and stay aggressive with his middle hitters, Holt and David Lee. Boy, Isaac was right there, Isaac Santos, but Evander's got to give a little more help. The opposite, the outside blocker there in position number 2. He's got to slide in and give a little more help. Into the cross court once again. Russell had a nice couple of digs when the ball was more into area 6, but this more into the deep cross court corner. That is just a world-class swing from a world-class young player. Middle again, no, back row combination. That one had very good timing to it. You can see how conservative right now Brazil is serving, and why not? They've missed enough for 5 matches, let alone not even 2. Lucarelli just shredding the American block. I don't know what you do to slow him down. Only 23 years of age. Evandro getting some last-second instruction. And if it was Bernardinho, I think he said, keep the ball in, no matter what. Tough serve. And Anderson misses it into the deep cross-court corner. And it all started with a good serve in the court. John Spera up, exhorting his team to dig in. There was no touch there. Lipe has done a very good job coming off the bench, not only in terms of numbers, but also in terms of the emotional level of this Brazilian team. Timeout for the United States, their second and last.
If you have the opportunity, don't need to make a two-hand move. Okay? I think we're in a good spot in the back. Okay? Here we go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. USA. One side out. One to the middle, baby.
Remember, Italy and Poland to follow here on day 2. United States first needs a side out. Evandro will be back at the service line once again. Max Holt in the middle, Aaron Russell on the outside, and of course you have Anderson on the right. And you can have Jeske out of the middle back as well. Russell over the top, here for the match. And the victory for Brazil, 2-1. Lucarelli again. I said for the match. Of course, maybe it is for the match, as it turns out. But for the set win, good dig in the back row. Lipe again, and then Lucarelli with the kill. Brazil comes back to win it after trailing 16-13. They win it 25-22. Fourth set coming up from Rio.
inteiro. Com a mão lá em cima. Segurou, segurou? Então agora a torcida tem que acompanhar o Zé Careca e os Zé Cabelos. Prepara então, vamos lá, hein? Com todo mundo junto, porque aqui a criançada faz a festa, vai!
Getting ready for set number 4, and that last gentleman we saw, not sure who he's for. Saw a little bit of stars and stripes in there, but also maybe a little bit of the red of Poland, who are coming up next against Italy. Paul Sunderland with you once again, and it has been a really well-played match so far. A little bit, let me retract that. It's been really ugly from the service line, particularly for Brazil. But other than that, Lucarelli has been nearly unstoppable, as has Matt Anderson for the United States. I'll give you the numbers. Ricardo Lucarelli, 16 of 29, 17 total points. He also has an ace. Matt Anderson leading all scores with 21 points, 15 of 23 attacking. He also has 3 aces and 3 blocks. Both of them have been absolutely spectacular, carrying their teams. What a good comeback for Brazil in that third set. They trailed 16-13 and came back to win it 25-22. Both teams again with a full allotment of challenges and of course timeouts. The United States won this tournament last year for the 2nd time. John Spera's first World League title as the American head coach. They beat Brazil in the finals 3-1. Aaron Russell will start things off for the United States. Lipe stays on the floor for Brazil and has an immediate impact. We're going to talk to the coaches around the Brazilian team, and Lipe has always been, I want to back up a little bit, the couple of years that he's been with the senior national team, it's always been in a reserve role. He's never been expected to go out and play like he will have to at maybe the Intercontinental round or in the World League Finals, 4 or 5 high-level matches day after day after day. But maybe we're starting to see what can be a changing of the guard with respect to Lipe taking over for Murilo Andres. We shall see how it plays out. Taylor Sander back on. Really struggled in the early stages of this match, was replaced by Thomas Jeske. That ball right off the noggin that time of Lucas Satkamp. These teams and players know one another so well. They know their tendencies. Watch the read. David Lee goes behind. Lucas is right there. Those are 2 of the very best middle blockers over the last decade going head to head. I tell you, Lipe is impressing me right now. I knew he could jump. I knew he had a really live arm, but that's the phase of the game that's really impressed me so far. You know, the United States is going to go right after him, but he's been receiving serve well. Joust coming off the block and out of bounds. Boy, you knew that was going to happen. Bruno pushing the ball. That was a smart shot. See, Bruno's not necessarily aiming out of bounds. Watch him. He looks at the block, pushes into the block, and then out of bounds. That's really well executed by someone who is now a real veteran player. The United States in real trouble here early. And yet another missed serve. Lucas doesn't even want to think about it. Anderson with a missed jump serve again. Thanks for joining us here for our coverage of the World League Finals, the 26th edition. It all began back in 1990. Italy dominated the early years, and then Brazil took over after 2000. They have won the title 9 times. They did, however, win their first all the way back in 1993. 4th time that Brazil has hosted the finals. Speaking of finals, the United States will host the finals of the Grand Prix, the equal of this tournament on the women's side. Currently, the United States, China, and Brazil are the only undefeated teams in that tournament. Lipe, this time over the top from the right side. Lipe is his nickname. His name is Luis Fonteles. 1 meter 96 centimeters. Been around a while. Already 30 years of age. Maybe some perspiration on the ball. It went right through the rather large hands of Micah Christensen, and now Brazil in complete control. Again, Brazil, after losing to France yesterday, had to win this match, and it will help them if they win it in 3 sets or 4. Then they'll get the full 3 points with respect to there possibly being a tiebreaker. That ball missed out of bounds by Evandro. Begging for a touch on that particular play, and I don't think there's going to be a challenge early. No, that ball is just missed out of bounds. That is just missed straight out of bounds. And Evandro, he's what we call a terminal player. Terminal good and terminal bad. Another missed serve. And we've come to the technical timeout, the first of the 4th set, with Brazil leading the United States 8-4. Father and son, Bruno Rezende, the starting center. Bernardo, I'm so used to calling him Bernardinho, so why not? But father and son have been together for a long time, and not always the easiest dynamic, make no mistake, but Bruno has established himself and proven himself to be one of the best setters in the world, and his father, clearly a resume that would certainly call for being considered the greatest coach of all time. Julio Velasco in there as well, I think, in that category. Coached Italy to 3 straight world championships, never won an Olympic Games. Italy's been in the finals a couple of times, but Julio Velasco obviously right there. Doug Beal helped to revolutionize the game in terms of the two receivers. Coached the United States to the Olympic gold medal in 1984. That ball off of Lipe and out of bounds. Still plenty of time for the United States, but they have got to start blocking some ball. Evandro off of Russell and out of bounds. Perfect one-on-one after the pass by Lucarelli. Misses that ball out of bounds by about the length of a court, not even close. You know, players serve out so often, it's like there's no conscience, there's no remorse. They just go back there and serve as hard as they can. If it's in, it's in. If it's out, it's out. And back to back. Brazil now leading 10-6, but most importantly 2-1 here in this must-win situation. Italy and Poland to follow about 20 minutes after the conclusion of this match. And another service error. David Smith now coming on to replace Max Holt. And David Smith, I think that is mostly because Max Holt has struggled at the service line so much. David Smith has played a lot so far this intercontinental round. Very talented player. A little undersized, but very quick in the middle. Good pass by Lipe once again. Lucarelli taking care of everything else with the wrist away. We get another look at David Smith. You'll notice that he plays with hearing aids. Suffered almost total hearing loss as a child. Down the line and off of Evandro, not ready defensively. Back to David Smith just a moment to finish that story about his hearing loss. Said it's tough for him sometimes, particularly as a middle hitter. When things are happening behind him, you know, players are saying, get out of the way, I got this ball. You know, he doesn't hear that so well. But then he said it really pays off when the coaches are really mad, because he can't hear them either. Down the line by Evandro again. Once again, a terminal player. Scores points, and then he scores points for the other team as well. Lipe is passing very, very well. Oh, that is just... Move your feet, Taylor Sander. Just a nothing serve, and it goes down as an ace. Timeout called by the United States in all kinds of trouble.
Stay in that place where we can think about each one, not get too frustrated, making sure we're not. Think about where we need to set up blocks on guys, where we need to defend. Let's come up with a couple plays. Hey, we only need a couple plays. Hey, one play is up.
Very calm approach that time by John Spera, head coach for the United States, now in his third year. As mentioned earlier, also head coach at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. Here is Bruno. Out of the middle back, Lucarelli again. What a good choice. Beautiful dig by Sergio. And also Lipe had come in to help defensively, so he was not available. A really good selection by Bruno that time. The United States is in an awful state right now. Give Brazil credit for keeping their level high, but the United States, yeah, John Speraw is going to call another timeout. And I don't think this one will be as mild-mannered.
You got to pass that ball. He's normally a little bit short. Just step up. Yeah, absolutely. Those are those adaptations we need to make, okay? So he's going to do the same thing. Stay here. 1, 2, 3.
Lucarelli, Evandro, and of course Matt Anderson leading the way for the United States. There are your scoring leaders. The United States coaching staff not happy right now at all with something along the sideline, and not their sideline, something having to do with the officials. Anderson into the deep cross court. Two diggers were there. Sergio and Bruno were both there, and kind of took themselves out of the play. Evandro is stuffed. Think back to what head coach John Speraw said when he called that timeout. He said, we just need to make a couple of plays. Well, there's one, and only one. And Evandro once again being way too terminal a hitter. He's had his share of successes, but also way too many mistakes. Lipe once again. Aaron Russell twisted his ankle. He went down hard. Some contact under the net. And Aaron Russell went immediately to the floor, so he's twisted his ankle. I can't bear to watch this. I can't watch. You know what happened. Russell went down to the floor. He's being tended to under the net. Rolled an ankle, landing either on a teammate or on Lipe. We've come to the technical timeout with Brazil leading 16-10. And Russell needing some help going over to the sideline. That does not look good. So he's going to be examined by the team trainer Aaron Brock for the United States. And Paul Lottman now, veteran of the London Olympic Games. Yeah, there's the collision under the net. I can't bear to watch it. I've done that so many times. Just can't watch it. So we'll keep an eye on Russell, and of course we'll get an update on his condition for tomorrow's match against France. So Paul Lottman will come on now, replacing Russell. His first appearance in the match. Very experienced, talented player is Paul Lottman. Now 29 years of age, 2 meters even. Again, played at the London Olympic Games. Anderson off of Lucarelli and down, or maybe that through the seam, off of Isaac as well. So Matt Anderson, well, nobody for the United States has played worth a darn in this fourth set. All started with some very poor receiving. And Brazil has maintained the same level that took them to a 25-22 win in set number 3. Isaac again over the top and down. I want to talk a little bit more about the tiebreaker in this tournament. The first criteria is one-loss record, but it's hypothetical. I mean, Brazil's got a 17-11 lead here in the 4th set and a 2-1 lead. Let's say they go on to win, so they'll finish their preliminary round at 1-1. I'll finish the thought in a moment. Lottman's going to have to take a swing here. Oh boy, that's a really good swing. That is a gutsy swing. But just to finish the thought, it's just quickly. So Brazil, hypothetically, if they go on to win, will have a 1-win, 1-loss record. And then the United States and France play tomorrow. If the United States wins, all 3 teams will be 1-1. And let's say that they all win in 3 or 4 sets, so they all be tied in 1-loss record. They'll all be tied in points. Tap down here by Lottman. And the next criteria is points ratio. Points for divided by points against. So it could be that close. Now, of course, if France beats the United States, then the Americans are out. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's still some work to do for Brazil. 17-13, but I want to make sure you understand how the tie would be broken. That ball served out of bounds by Christensen. And here comes the double sub with William and Vizotto. Remember, about 20 minutes after the conclusion of this match, we will have Italy and Poland. Lipe has been absolutely superb. Turned this match around for Brazil if they go on to win it. Anderson over the top of the block once again, and that is a big block over Vizotto and Lucas. Matt Anderson has not gotten many opportunities here in the 4th set, but one of the best matches I have seen him play in a long, long time. Number 1 for the United States. Not a well-formed block, and he ripped that ball into cross court. Still a comfortable lead for Brazil. With a big swing, able to tuck that ball down inside. And maybe Brazil ready for a timeout. Now it's 18-15. And there it is, timeout Brazil. Bernardinho, always worth, with all due respect, the price of admission. So teams back out on the floor. Brazil with a relatively comfortable lead. On the other hand, the United States still with time. Oh, a big block there on the outside. Taylor Sander finally having an impact on this match. He hadn't done much. And the double sub gets unwound once again. Paul Lottman came in and put that ball away on the left side. He's also serving in. What a novel concept. What a thought. 18-16. Big kill out of the middle by Luka Satkamp. And a good pass by Lucarelli. Boy, that was absolutely huge. 2 American blockers are there. Lee, number 4. Taylor Sander, maybe not so much. Wow, just find a very small hole. No chance there for the American defense. Taylor Sander off the top of the block, registering a nice kill. Very good swing. Still haven't gotten word about the injury to Aaron Russell. Thought that he might have landed on a Brazilian attacker, but getting word that he landed on teammate David Smith. But either way, that is a serious injury. That ball off the top of the block as well. And here comes the United States, making a couple of plays and also showing some energy. No question about the touch. And now it is 19-18. Wow. And now 19-all. Does Brazil take their last time out? What a comeback by the United States. They trailed 16-11 at the second technical timeout. And it's all just from serving in. Paul Lottman and David Lee. Back to Lucas once again. And I don't understand. I got to think back. Lucas has been a disaster from the service line this entire match. He's got to find a way just to put this ball in the court. That was a pretty good one. And Sander is stuffed by Bruno. Pretty good looking play. Block for Brazil was spread. High up into the block, but better technique by Bruno in Brazil. 21-19. Yeah, you got to go to Anderson. That's an easy choice to make. Anderson again off the top of the block. Just has been basically unstoppable for the United States. And also Anderson in the match has 3 aces. He's been about the only American, along with David Lee, that has done anything from the service line. Perfect pass, but Lipe is blocked absolutely straight down one-on-one. What a block! Micah Christensen again. Wow, reaching out with that right hand. Absolutely. That's the block of the match so far. Block of the tournament, and I know it's early. 21-21. Ace serve by Anderson. Wow, what a serving performance. 4 aces for Matt Anderson, along with everything else that he has done attacking. He's taken every difficult swing. Yeah, chest bump for Paul Lottman. Give the Olympic veteran Paul Lottman some credit too, coming in for the injured Aaron Russell and playing very well.
Vai, Dalton, vamos de novo, vai! Vai, confiança! Aqui pra ele lá, vamos! Esquece o que passou, vamos rodar essa, tá igual! Esquece o set, vamos rodar, tá igual!
Mentioned that Matt Anderson had an interesting year, went back to Russia and really had a difficult time. He's been a professional volleyball player for a long time. He's lived away from his family, and he asked for and received a leave of absence from his club team, Zenit Kazan. Came back, spent time with his family, got centered once again, and then went back. and help them to win the Russian League championship. Tied at 22 after the miss by Anderson. On his left arm, he has a tattoo of a tree, and there's his right arm. Hopefully we'll see his left. That's the family tree with all of his close family members tattooed on his left arm. Here's Bruno. Lipe puts the ball away. Good set that time by Isaac Santos. But the key was the dig by Bruno. Lipe tucked that ball down inside of David Smith. Now Brazil back on top by 1. Anderson again. Tied at 23. But who is going back to serve? Last year's most valuable player, Taylor Sander, has been very ineffective so far today. And he missed the serve out of bounds. Wow, not even close. I was just about to say, look, the pressure's on Brazil. They have to win. You cannot miss that serve in that situation. Match point number 1, and how appropriate that it's Lipe back at the line. Anderson again, and we're tied at 24. This is so much fun, except for all the service errors. You are seeing some absolutely spectacular volleyball when the ball is actually in play. 1 match point saved. Free ball coming to the United States. A chance to take the lead. And Anderson is blocked. Ran under that ball just a little bit. And Matt Anderson was not able to get the kind of velocity on that ball that he needed. He has been spectacular so far on the afternoon. Match point number 2. Back row combination. And Paul Lottman again. Lottman, number 6 in red. They're going to go after him. Stepped in past that ball perfectly under pressure. Evandro off the top. It'll be match point number 3. And that's it. Brazil in a must-win situation. In spite of a great run at the end of the 4th set, Brazil wins it 27-25 and keeps their hopes alive. And also, it was vitally important that they win this match in 3 or 4 sets, because then they take the full 3 points. If this match had gone to a 5th set, it would have been a real problem for Brazil. So Brazil now finishes their preliminary round with 1 win and 1 loss. The United States will play France tomorrow, and coming up next, Italy and Poland. But not for now. Brazil wins it 3-1 when they had to have it. Well, they're the words of the starting center, Bruno Rezende from Brazil, in a really exciting 3-1 victory over the United States to keep their hopes alive, but not guaranteed that Brazil is into the finals yet. They have just given themselves an opportunity. Now the United States takes on the role of Brazil. They will have to beat France tomorrow in 3 sets or 4. There you see the standings. Brazil at 1-1, France at 1-0. The United States 0-1, and it will all be decided tomorrow. Coming up next, Italy and Poland, and then the United States and France tomorrow, followed by Serbia and Poland. Brazil wins it 3-1 here at the World League Finals for the FIVB. I'm Paul Sunderland. Be sure and stay tuned in about 20 minutes for Italy and Poland. For now, we say so long from the Olympic Arena, Americanazinho.